listening to Workaholics Anonymous, a weekly discussion of terrible jobs, bad coworkers, awful bosses, and overcoming them for positive outcomes. Now here's your host, Breck Hall.
My name is Breck, and this is the second episode of Workaholics Anonymous. In this episode, I brought my friend Taylor on the show just so we could have a little interview. Me and Taylor have worked together for the last year and a half, 2 years or so. So you want to say hi?
Hello, thanks for having me.
No worries. So just a couple things because we have worked together for a long time. We've become friends over the last little while. Just got a couple questions. What type of jobs have you worked in the past?
I feel like I've worked a little bit everywhere. I've done the food industry. I've done some retail, solar, just a little bit of everything. So, and I've had a little bit of experiences in all of them.
Okay, cool. With the types of jobs that you had, do you feel like being a millennial has affected them? Do you feel like that affects the types of jobs that you can get or the way like employers treat people our age? Do you feel like
I guess yeah. In some cases, I guess one of my views that I have is just to work hard no matter what. And even though some people do have those views or those notions about millennials, I think if you put those aside and don't think about it and just get to work, I feel like that will benefit you.
one thing about like millennials and like people our age that I don't think anyone understands is like everyone I know, like with you, you just had a baby, probably the cutest baby I've ever seen. But like everyone's always working like 2 jobs, going to school. Like you work full time, go to school a lot, and then you also just had a brand new baby. Like most of the millennials I know are working pretty hard. So like that one just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. So is there any like crazy work stories that you've had or something like that that
Well, when you told me that you were doing this, one experience that came to my mind right away was I was working at a restaurant. I won't say which name.
Yeah,
But
we
I'm-
don't say names of companies. We don't say names of people. So if you want to use fake aliases, so that we both do not get sued.
Okay, I'll make sure to be careful with what I say. But I was working at a restaurant. They're famous for their chicken. I'm still a frequent customer there, and I was at the cash register helping customers, and this guy comes up and sorry, excuse me.
How old were you at this time?
I was probably 14 or 15. So I was just
Working
I was a
under
little
the
baby
counter. Okay.
behind the counter, and this guy comes up. I hadn't even helped him. He just came up and he throws this box of chicken nuggets at my chest. And he said, "What the heck are these?" And I'm like sitting there pooping my pants, like, what did I just do? And I looked at the guy. I'm like, they're chicken nuggets, sir. And he was like, "This is not what I ordered." And I was like, "I apologize." And so I guess that at the restaurant there were 2 types of chicken nuggets that you could choose from. And he got the other kind.
2
Heaven
types of
forbid
nuggies.
he got the wrong chicken nuggets, and he did not think it was so funny. And so he wasn't too happy about that. But now looking back on it, it was kind of a funny story.
Going back on it. One thing that I've been wondering about too, like, so we met through work and we're friends through work and we hang out a lot outside of work. Like, do you think that there's a difference between organic friendships? Like, I guess one's from high school and one from work.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I think having the ability to work with someone, I think that you get to see a different side of someone that you maybe wouldn't see just hanging out with your buddies, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's cool to be able to see someone's work ethic and how they're choosing to I think it's a different way to see how people live their life. And you can really tell a lot about someone by the way they choose to work and their work ethic. And so I think it's cool to be able to see your coworkers. I think you can tell a lot about them just by how they choose to work.
I think it's kind of interesting just because. So, little backstory: Taylor was the quarterback starting 4 years, all 4 years at Gorham
No,
High.
I started my junior and senior.
Oh, very cool, very cool. And I was definitely not playing sports and doing stuff like that. So like maybe me and Taylor, like in high school, we probably just knowing who I was. Like I was in the back door, out the back door kind of guy. So like maybe we wouldn't have hung out, and so that's what I think is cool about because we can come like we come from different like backgrounds, like religious views, like everything. But it's weird that like a job will bring you together, and then it's like even if we both quit today, like we'd probably still hang out.
Oh yeah, we'd definitely be getting our weekly lunches in.
Definitely, but
Catching
yeah,
up.
I think that that's cool. So with working together and stuff like that, and like we both gotten different opportunities. Like we're both going on to school right now. Like obviously, probably isn't our end job. So what kind of things do you think you're looking for in a company in the future? Like what kind of things would be willing to take you away? Like move on to that next step.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me that I always look forward to is the companies that hold value in making their employees happy. I think that's pretty self-explanatory why it's easier to work in those types of places. But I think those companies that go over and beyond to make their employees happier. I know for me, I'm gonna be working harder. I'm gonna hold a greater value to my job, and so I think that is something that's really important to me, where I can feel comfortable going in every day and working hard, and yeah.
Okay. Um, so other things like other things that you're looking for is like benefits or because I know a lot of these because we live in Utah County, so there's a ton of call centers, and that's pretty much a lot of the big jobs and everything. And I know everyone's starting to offer wild things like gym memberships, the free lunches every day, and things like that. Do you take that into account, or is it more just would you rather do a job you don't like and get all the perks like that, get all the Sundance passes and everything like that? Or would you rather do a job you like, maybe make a little less and be more passionate about it? Or do you think
Me personally, I definitely think everyone's different and what they prefer. But me personally, I would rather do something that I enjoy doing, even if I am making a little bit less. I'd rather be happy going into work every day rather than dreading it. Um, so in that aspect, that's my personal opinion. But those perks are nice. But I think me personally, I'd rather do something that I love doing.
okay, awesome. And so also with your work thing, like I was saying, everyone seems to be doing a ton of stuff lately. Besides going to work and school and everything, you also own your own wood business, correct?
Yep. Yeah. So I do that on the side. That's something that keeps me sane.
Bars, custom designs, right?
Yep. That's right. Follow
Okay.
me on Insta.
So what kind of things have you been doing with that? Like, and how does running your own business compare to working for a company? Like,
Yeah. So I started doing woodworking when I was in high school, just wood shop. And I learned really quickly that it was something that I absolutely loved doing. And so since after high school, I've Christmas, birthday presents, that's what I've been asking for is tools or things like that. And so that's helped me kind of get more experience. And then people started asking me to build things, and it kind of just turns itself into a business.
so what kind of places have you been selling on?
So I've a lot of social media selling that. I've sold some things on Etsy. I'm working on developing a website right now, sell some stuff. Um, I've been doing farmers markets, just big places like that. Mostly, it's very small scale right now. So mostly just word of mouth.
Word of mouth and custom projects like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you think that it differs? Like, Because obviously, woodworking is something you're passionate about. So, do you think that you treat it different from your job, or like, I mean, maybe you're willing to work a little more longer hours or work your weekends or things like that, right?
Yeah, right now, because like you said, I am going to school. I do have another job. I just had a new baby. I've got a lot of things on my plate right now, so that wood business has resulted in me having to work late nights. There's a lot of days I'm up till 2 in the morning out in the shop working, and weekends working out there. And but it's something that I do because I love doing it. I'm passionate about it, and it's something that hopefully later on down the road I it will be able to work better in my schedule when things slow down a little bit. But
Yeah, I like that. Yesterday I saw this quote and it made me think about it because I feel like I work a lot and sometimes I'm just more money driven than I'm actually goal driven, which I think can sometimes get bad. But I saw this quote the other day. It says, "Are you chasing peace or pleasure?" So do you feel like with your goals and things like that, like what does the woodworking do and what is finishing school and things like that? What does that lead you towards? Like,
I guess like with all of this, I think like with me and you, we're in a stage in our life where we're having to invest all of this time and this money into our futures. And so like I think with school is like I know it's hard. We've talked about this. Like it's hard to kind of see, but I know that like if we like pursue it and finish to the end, that it's gonna eventually be beneficial for us.
it's
And
hard to see the light at the end of the
it
tunnel.
is hard.
Especially like, you go to school all day, then you go to work, and then you get roasted by customers all day, and then you go do like an internship or you go home and do more wood projects, and your wood customers don't care about your day,
Yeah.
other the other jobs don't care about the other jobs, and school doesn't care about your job, and so like it's hard to make everyone happy. What kind of things do you do to like check yourself, like be like, is this what I want to do? Am I taking care? Because now you have a kid, so now you have to make sure, like, am I taking care of my wife? Am I taking care of my kid?
Yeah, I'm really lucky. My wife's really awesome and has been very supportive.
I second that.
Yeah,
She's fantastic.
she's pretty legit, and she has definitely helped me balance out my life. Are able to have those talks, so it's not just me against the world. I'm really lucky to be able to have her to help me with those things, those big decisions in life, and so I definitely think that she's been a
She's been
huge.
awesome. I think she's like the way she backs all your projects. She backs every crazy idea we've ever talked about. She helps us like a little while ago. Me and Taylor were working on. There was a scholarship. Was it scholarship or was it just like a business thing?
It was like uh it was like a program that the school was putting on. It
Yeah,
was just like
UVU was having this business competition thing where people with new businesses or business ideas, and I guess it didn't get enough people for the project because they were handing out the scholarship prizes for first, second, and third. And I think they had 3 people apply at first, and then me and Taylor got it on like a Friday.
yeah, we heard about it like a few days before the event, and
It
so
was due. It was like we heard about it on Friday, and they extended the date till Wednesday. Wednesday night.
yeah, it was like we had a weekend and a few days, and
And
I
so we had to write a 3-page paper. We had to make a 2-minute video, and Taylor did 95% of that. I showed up, I threw my name on that bad boy, but and Mackenzie helped a ton with that paper. She was awesome. Um, but things like that, like she's always super supportive of the ideas. Like we're always up late.
yep.
We're always just winging things. And I think that's cool. Like we even like presented it and we had never even talked about it. Like we never pitched it together as a group or anything. We showed up and honestly when we showed up, I thought we were gonna walk into a room and there was gonna be like 3 judges. We pitch it, they clap, it's over. Write me the check. But no, like we walk into the auditorium and there was like other people there and I was like, oh, I'm actually stressed. Um, and then we had to give a 10-minute presentation. Taylor made the coolest prototype. and we just winged the whole thing. Like it sounded smooth, Thought we were coming home with the first place, but it's okay. We did our best. But things like that, I think it's cool that you can have a relationship where, because that's what I think. Like me personally, I worry about with like dating and like getting married in my 20s. Is the loss of opportunities. But I think when you find the right person and you're like have the right support system, and like you guys did it too. Like you came home off your mission, you dated for a while, you both have worked really hard, like and everything in your jobs, and so I think you guys have set yourself up where you're not the new couple that's like stressed about it. You know what I mean? You guys have a nice home, you guys are fixing it up and things like that, and so you're not worried about, hey, do I have $5 for lunch? You guys are just like, you can do what you want. Like McKendrick, you can go finish school. And sorry if you didn't like me using your name. I'm sorry. Please don't sue me, McKendra. But I just think you're fantastic. And like that's the type of a famous philosopher once said, married in your 20s, where's the fun in that? Drake. And so I was always wondering, like yeah, I was nervous. I am nervous about being married in my 20s just because I don't want to lose any opportunities. But I think like when you got a tag team dude like you guys, bought a house. Like, tell us a little bit about that story. I think that one's fun.
That was definitely something that was like, I've always been looking to buy a house. Like it's
because you guys were just renting a basement, correct?
Yeah, we were just living in a basement apartment, and I was tired of paying rent. Just with the idea of like my money is, I felt like I was wasting my money. And so I had been kind of looking, and one day my boss was telling me about this house that was for sale.
Oh yeah, because you live right next to our boss.
Yep, sure do. And so he told me about it, and I drove by there on my way home from work that day and saw the for sale sign, called on it, scheduled like an appointment to go around and walk around, take a look at it. I found out that they had put the sign out just earlier that day.
Okay.
I was the first person to call on it, and it worked out. They were willing to take the.
So let's dive in a little more with the story because I think it's a good story. And first of all, I think you don't even touch on the part where me and you had like talked. We were like, oh, let's buy a condo to get like, let's buy this. I'll live in the bottom, you live in the top type thing. And then one day you were like, it was like the end of December, right? The middle of December last year.
Yep.
And you were like, hey, don't be mad, but I think I'm buying a home. Like, how does someone casually stumble on buying a home? Like, it really was like a week thing. Like the week before, you were like, and we're just going to school and doing our thing. And then it was like, I'm a homeowner. So like,
it's the weirdest. Like, it's definitely a crazy first home buying experience. I did not think that it was gonna go that way. Everything just kind of fell into place. Like,
right.
I go there, talk to them, like, yeah, we're interested, and
who owned it?
Just an older lady. She was just moving to an assisted living, and
just wanted the cheddar.
She just wanted that cash, and we just kind of all fell into place. Like we told her that we were interested, and she took the for sale sign down that day.
So no one moved,
and no one else was calling on it, and we made our offer. She accepted it, and bada bing, bada boom. There we go. Like, kind of just all worked out. So.
Yeah. And then you've been doing a ton of renovations. You ripped out those weird middle walls.
Yep. The house was built in like the 1960s, and I would be surprised if it's been touched since the 1970s, 80s.
And I mean, like, she only stayed in the upstairs part, so like, I'd be surprised if the downstairs got touched in the last 10 years.
Yep.
You know,
it's got some nice wood paneling, some orange shag carpet.
Definitely feels like a Scooby-Doo episode.
Blast from the past. So
things like that. That's cool. So what kind of things do you see yourself like doing in the future? Like, do you and McKendra like see yourself staying in Utah? Do you want to like what are you getting your degree in again?
Business management.
Business management. So, and you only have a couple of classes left, and then you're out of here.
Hallelujah. Yep. A couple semesters probably.
Oh, blessed. So with that, like, are you Mackenzie like planning on staying in Utah? Do you like? Yeah, I guess we'll start with that question. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, that's something we kind of have a difference in opinion on. Um, just because she feels like she wants to move away, just to get away and experience the world a little bit more, and I kind of have more of the mindset of wherever life kind of takes us.
And
If it's in
kinda,
Utah, if it's Utah. If it's somewhere else, then it's somewhere else. But that's kind of my philosophy.
so, like, with getting a degree and everything like that, do you think a degree is essential to getting a good job and getting out of the crappy jobs and getting out of nuggets been thrown in your face? Like, do you think a degree is like? Do you think you can make it without a degree, or do you think that a degree is?
Well, obviously, there's those people out there that have made millions and billions of dollars that don't have a college degree.
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely say that having a college degree does open some doors.
For sure.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes, and then I do feel like most of the time it is just selling yourself. Like, especially with our job today, like with how we work, like the prices are set, this things are what it is. But I feel like it's more selling yourself at the end of the day. If you have the piece of paper and people still don't like you, that's not going to pan out.
Yeah.
Uh,
And yeah.
what was that? And then, and so what kind of things, like with getting back to work and like the work environment, like what kind of things do you think make a good coworker?
I think someone that's got your back, like on, I know me and you, like when we go on our trips, we kind of put a lot of weight on each other to maybe handle clients
Fun trips,
or just like
when
vacationing. Like
when I leave you
if I'm
semi-monthly to go on. I'm a very weekend warrior type of trip guy, and so I always leave on like Thursday and Friday, and so Taylor's always been holding it down on those days.
no, but and I've appreciated like the times where like I'm gone, but
We
you
are always playing hops. Like I think with school and everything, it's always like tag teaming and like, yo, I'll be here for 2 hours. You hold it down for 2 hours. I'll come back after lunch, type of thing. So like I think we definitely do tag team. It was like, so I'm not gonna lie. When we first so originally I was the only salesperson that we had at this company, and like we're paid commission and stuff like that. And so when I had heard that we were getting another salesperson, not gonna lie, I was a little salty because just less. It meant it means less money for at first, and then like it is a different dynamic because at first we started, it was like, oh, this other dude, I just have to train him to take jobs from me and take. But then it's like, oh, we're super cool. We hang out all the time. Came to your baby blessing. Like, I just feel like it's cool now. Like, you meet your best friend. You meet some of your best friends from work. Like,
Yep.
we've done the markets together. We did that business promotion together. Like, probably be one of the first people to call if I was ever. I mean, my car got hit this morning, and you were the first person I called. My car was assaulted,
I'll be there.
and that's what I mean. Like, you're like the first person. I'm like, oh, who would think this is a cool story, or like, who needs all my juicy gossip? I'm like, Taylor.
I'm your man. I'm all about
So-
that juice.
So, like, are there other places that you work that you have friendships with people still to this day?
Yeah, like I still get lunch once in a while with people that I've worked with in the past. I feel like where we're at now, I'd say you're definitely the one that I've grown closest with. I think mostly because we've worked so closely together for a while now. I've got to know you a little bit better than I have with maybe some other companies.
It is interesting just because we're so intertwined, and we are dependent on each other for just our job because we have to go back and forth. Like, someone's got to be there. And I think we've had fun experience, like Vegas. We ended up having a work conference thing down there, and our boss was like, and it's a funny story because our whole company just like we had planned on leaving that day at like noon, right?
Yeah, something like that.
We
Sometimes
finally got the rental at 5 o'clock and headed down to Vegas. We get there like 9:30, whatever. Did we even do anything that night?
Yeah, we hit up the strip.
We hit up the strip.
We,
Oh, yeah,
we
we
took a
did.
little walk around.
Yeah, like 10 minutes until I was tired. Then I copped out and we headed back. But like we drove down there, got there like 9, walked for 20 minutes. And then the next day we spent all day walking this trade show exhibit, with like event type thing,
Yeah.
which was pretty cool. Um, and then like we went through the whole day, and then you guys ended up driving like the same night. So we were in Vegas less than 24 hours, right?
Yep.
So I think things like that, where we've gotten out and things like that, have helped our friendship and stuff like that, and just being intertwined with school. And I think like, and it is weird because what year did you graduate?
13.
13. And so you're 25, correct?
That's correct.
Perfect. Yeah, and I graduated in 16, so we probably wouldn't have hung out just because you would have been like head football dude, and I would have been like nerdy little sophomore. You know what? And it, like, and so it's cool, and I think it is interesting that.
And I think like it helps too when you take some time to try and get to know your coworkers outside of work. And I think it makes your job more enjoyable too. Like while you're at work, if you've had those experiences, maybe outside of work, those definitely help. I'd say make your work day go a little
We
better.
have definitely worked on our fair share of project, cooked our fair share of brats. Like Taylor makes a mean brat. Like that is my go-to food, my go-to everything. So I think that's cool. Is there anything in the future that like you're looking forward to, or like goals that you have in the future that are big goals that with work and things like that?
Um, yeah, I'd absolutely love to own my own business one day. I think that that's kind of the main goal where I can be able to provide for my family, but be able to make my own schedule, be really flexible in that way that I can go to my kids' soccer games or whatever and be able to spend time with them. I think that's a big value to me as my family. And so I would say my biggest goal as an occupation side of things would be something that I can provide for my family, but and be able to have that time to be with them as well.
Yeah, because I definitely because with going to school and working and everything, like you don't have a ton of time to sit back, watch the movies and everything with the family and things like that. Uh, do you? So with you said you wanted to own your own business. Do you think a degree is more about the connections you make than with that? Because if you own your own business, the degree didn't really matter. I mean, it's not like it doesn't matter, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I definitely think there's a lot of valuable information that I've learned like while going for my degree, that I wouldn't have learned anywhere else. So I definitely think there's the value in the school, but I definitely do think that it's the connections that you're making in school have been really cool. I've met a lot of people who we've done like group projects together that we've continued that project even after that semester is over. We've continued discussing and talking about different things, and so yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
Nope, I know everything about you, Brad.
You know everything. Let's probably keep some of those a secret. Let me see what kind of other questions I have. Uh, when you were coming into, like, did we have to cut that part? We can't say my job name. um, when okay, we'll step back, pause it for a second. So when you were starting at the company, like, did you have any expectations? Did it seem bigger than like coming in? Like we really only have 10 people when you think about it.
Yeah,
And so me and you are a big part of that, and like our relationship. I think it would be so much hard. Our jobs would be so much harder if we weren't, if you weren't friends
yeah.
in this.
I was coming from before I started working at the company where I was doing my own kind of thing and I was hating it. Like it was not fun. I was doing my own sales and I wasn't very passionate about the product, and so it was kind of hard for me. And so moving into this type of environment, like it was kind of exciting for me. At first, it was a new thing, new experience, and then getting to know you. It was a lot of fun. So I think that was kind of my new beginnings experience.
Okay. Yeah, it was definitely when I first started. So I had slid up from St. George. I spent my first year of college down at Dixie, which still miss Dixie a lot. Um, but with that, when I moved up, the first day I got hired over the phone. I'd seen the ad on Facebook when I was living in St. George because I hated my job and I was like my contract was ending, so I needed to, and I was ending up moving back here. With that, I was like looking for jobs on Facebook and I saw this one, called him about it, and we talked on the phone a couple times and he's like, "So can you come in for an interview?" And I was like, "Kind of live 4 hours away," and he was like, "Okay." He's like, "I got a couple other interviews going on, but then I'll let you know." And then that was like a Thursday, I believe. And then on a Friday, he was like, he gave me a call back and he's like, "Okay, so we picked you. Um, when can you start?" And during that time, I had no intentions to move. Like I still had 2 months left on my contract. I liked all of my roommates that I had, for the most part. Um, and with that, my mom was coming down for that weekend because they'd never come to see me in St. George or anything like that. So her and my little brother were coming down that weekend just to see what it was like. And so he said, "Can you start Monday?" So my mom got down that Friday night. It was like, "What do you want to do this weekend?" I'm like, "We had to pack." And so we did a couple things. We went out to eat and showed them around, but then spent the rest of the time packing. And we moved back up here like Sunday night. I started that Monday morning, and I still had half my junk in my car. I show up, and so I think my original thing, like our boss hired me to be like an assistant vice receptionist. Like,
Nice.
like I was just getting like the lady that was already there. She just was calling in sick like 3 or 4 times a week, and so I was gonna do her job while she was gone, and then I was gonna do I don't know, question mark. Well, during the other time she was there. So I show up, first day, stoked. And I walked in and she was at the front counter. I was like, "Hey, I'm starting today." And she's like, "For what?" I was like, "I think I'm a receptionist." And then she goes upstairs and leaves me downstairs. She's like, "I'll be back 1 sec." Salty as ever. And then she goes upstairs for like 20 minutes. Don't hear anything. And then our boss comes down and gets me. He's like, "Hey, sorry, that was kind of weird. She just quit." Um, and he's like, "Yeah, so what I was gonna do is have you like do her job while she was gone, and then you were gonna be like production guy when she was here." But she didn't like that. So I think that was overly nice of him to do. They're probably the two nicest people I've ever worked for.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're just bent over backward. And that's what I mean. It's totally that type of thing to be like, "Oh, you're gone all the time? Well, I'll just hire someone to help you." And then just do other things. So I see it now, like now after in May will be my 3 year mark. But I just think it's so funny to look back and that's exactly her there. But she was like, she quit right then. And then he was like, "Well, you can sit at this desk. She was supposed to train you, so I don't know who's gonna train you now." So I just kind of sat there for my first day, and I was like, "I just moved for this." Like, I'm like, "This is going downhill fast." But then over time, like, there's been so much room for you got luck. Well, not got lucky. You're definitely very, very qualified and very like your personality sells everything. But I started as a peon receptionist where I just had to do everyone's dirty work
The
and
grunt
do
work.
do all the grunt work that no one liked. And then a wonderful situation happened, which will maybe be another podcast. On how I got to my position of being, I don't even know what I would call myself. Your business cards say senior sales representative, and mine say probably junior, probably assistant to Taylor. Um,
You've worked there longer.
you wrote the name on the card, like it shows it. That's good. That's doctoring. But I think it's cool. Like, and I definitely don't think I could have started your job like how you did. You're definitely way more charismatic and outward. I'm like, I like to stick with what I do. Um, but I think it's been fun. So, you got any ideas? Um, that's pretty much everything that I've had for to ask you for this episode, and I appreciate you sliding out of work. Tell our boss it was my fault. Tell him you got sick. Tell
Yeah,
him.
you can buy me lunch. Or
Tell him you had an
something.
orthodontist
We'll
appointment, and Breck had to be there, and that's why you're not at work. So thank you for tuning into this second actual episode of this podcast. It has taken me so long to get this together. Finally got the right team. I got Sandman Productions that's been recording it. He's an awesome dude that like will help you set up your podcast, because that was my biggest worry. When I was trying to think of a podcast, I was like, it's going to sound like I recorded it in my bathroom on my iPhone. And so like that was like my huge concern. And I didn't want to buy the gear because anyone that knows me, I can't even set up my own Blu-ray player. My little brother, but like, sadly, he's on a mission now. Now I have to wait 2 years before I can ever watch a movie again. But like he used to always plug in the movies for me. So I was like, yeah, I'll just record my own thing. And no, we're not doing that. So Sandman Productions, he's been really helpful. You can follow him on Instagram if you're looking to start your own podcast. But tune in next week. We're hopefully going to get a couple more episodes out there. You can follow me on my Instagram. Right now, it's just my personal Breck Travis Hall _. We're working on getting maybe a podcast Instagram so we can separate my family life and my wholesome life from my podcast life. Tune in next week.